Coach, KD's been dealing with the shoulder, the last 5 games or so. What led to the decision today, being the day that he would take the day off?
Yeah, I just think it's just been bugging him a little bit, and finding a time for him to rest is difficult. So coming out of a back-to-back, the shoulder lingering a little, and him having, a 4-day break here in a sense for the shoulders, I think, just an opportunity we thought was positive for us. Unfortunately for tonight, it hurts the team, but in the long run, it could help us. So, those are the decisions you have to make.
With the rotation, assuming the young guys get some run, what are your expectations for them in terms of finding the rhythm and effectiveness out there on the floor?
Yeah, I think for the, if the young guys get a chance tonight, I want them to try to, focus on the game plan, but at the same time, not overthink. So can they understand what we're trying to do at both ends? That's an adaptation for young players. And then can they also be, not paralyzed or a step slow by overthinking the game. So you want a certain amount of adherence to what we're trying to do, coupled with some freedom and some confidence.
Steve, also on KD, did you sense that he was getting worn down at all by the amount of minutes he's been playing, by the burden he's been carrying without as much help as he might have had?
Not really. I mean, I think we always are careful there, but we've had a few games recently where he didn't play in the fourth quarter. So I think we saved some minutes here and there, but with the shoulder, it's it's not something we want to linger, and so I think that was an opportunity tonight that we took.
Coach, outside of basketball, there's going to be a protest outside this building because of the Rittenhouse verdict. I'm wondering if that's anything that the players and you guys spoke about, or if that's anything that you had a opinion on or whatnot.
We haven't talked about it. Clearly, these situations are disappointing, and it's important to not become demoralized, and for people to continue to fight for the type of justice and equality that I think serves all. And while I think it raises a lot of eyebrows, questions, a lot of pain, it's important that we recognize there has to be a path forward. It can't be, well, this is just the way it is. And so I think the movement that we've experienced, one way or the other is pushing change. Even if you can't see that change on a daily basis or even year by year over the course of time, without that type of attention and willpower to come together and fight for a better future, I think there would be no change, and it's paramount, and the seeds of change. So, I think these are always opportunities for us to look in the mirror.
Brian Lewis.
Hey, Steve. Following up on Katie, I'm curious, is it fair to describe it that you would expect him back on the 22nd for Cleveland? And was there any kind of imaging done? I can't remember about the imaging. There may have been imaging originally, but not today or yesterday. So let me put it in this context. We don't feel concerned that it will linger or that he'd miss the next game. It's just a pocket in the season where it's not like he sits tonight and plays tomorrow or Sunday. He actually gets, a few days rest on top of rest of the shoulder. And so there was multiple factors that I think made it attractive for us to choose this game for him to sit.
Steve, you guys aren't ranked that high, probably more toward the bottom in terms of fourth quarter offense, but those statistics probably aren't the best indicator. Just when you think about, emptying the bench, right, running out the clock, et cetera. Just how big of a concern is it for you, given that there are some other factors at play there?
Fourth quarter scoring? I think offensively we recognize we're a work in progress. We have a lot of growth to do at that end of the floor. So
concern. I don't know if the concern is the word. It's an area of examination and growth and trying to figure out how we can be a better scoring team collectively with this group. So I don't know. We've played enough fourth quarter games where it's, really tight that we can say, well, this is how we struggle in the fourth quarter. But I think we recognize that scoring is a challenge for our group at times. And we have to find an identity in a way that playing, with all the different combinations that we have can sustain scoring and be effective at that end.
Coach, James is someone who's played, I guess, kind of offenses have kind of been on his shoulders for the most part, and especially in Houston when he was there. And this is kind of an opportunity with Kevin out for him to kind of play in that type of role. Do you kind of want him to play that way in terms of, playing as if the offense is on his shoulders alongside Kevin, or do you see him changing his game at all to play with Kevin? Or
I want James to be James. I want him to be who he is within the context of this group. This isn't the Houston Rockets. I think it's important that him and Kevin can continue to develop a chemistry and understanding together, and that, that he's able to kind of go back and forth between, his relationship with Kevin and his relationship when Kevin's not on the court with his other teammates. How can he find a great balance there and really be himself? We've seen him, obviously. I hope everyone recognizes he's trending in a positive direction. I think he's getting more confident, more rhythm. He's getting a little bit more explosion and getting into the paint more often. So I'm really excited for the growth that he's having. And then it's a matter of our team finding the balance of how we're going to play together. And we've seen glimpses where what we've been, working at, preaching have been fruitful, but we have to continue to work at that every day because the NBA is not like college, or other scenarios. You very rarely get to practice. It's largely done in film sessions, and so it takes time. It's not something that you're able to just change overnight.
You anticipate that LaMarcus would be a guy who would step up and kind of fill the void for KD?
I would be very hesitant to ask anyone to fill the void for KD. I think he's, such a unique talent and incredible player, but LaMarcus has played great. I don't want him to do anything extra, just be himself, play the game. We just got to play well and play well together, and not worrying about Kevin being out and what has to happen in his absence. It's just play together, play with the principles that we've, all kind of, worked at and talked about. And if we do that, we'll have a chance to score enough. And if we play with the competitive fire and connectivity defensively, I think we can stop them. But if we don't have the passion, effort, and energy, I think that's where, your foundation crumbles. So I think tonight we just look for our guys to play hard, play together, and things will work themselves out.
Coach, I know you said towards the beginning of the season that you didn't anticipate Cam would get a lot of time given the roster. So I guess how do you assess him when he isn't getting real time with your guys as to what he can do or what he can be down the road?
Yeah, well, I think we've seen a lot of Cam in training camp. We think he has a bright future. I think that's what the G League's for. It's for a lot of reps, opportunities to play. I think those guys play tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. So there's a model in place through our player development when he's with us, through our player development when he's with Long Island, to continue to develop, as many players in our league do. They same for Duranr and Kessler and David Duke, guys that we're high on and think can have a really good career, but in the context of our group, perhaps aren't ready to knock someone off their rotation.